test this. I don't know if you can hear me or can't hear me, so I'm just going on to my profile to see if you can. Just 1 second. But we're looking at yourself. And there we go, perfect. Well, welcome back to version 2. Sorry about that, way to go, guys. My microphone wasn't working for whatever reason, I don't know. I just upgraded the software. So, back to what I was saying. So I was talking about Facebook and the whole privacy stuff with Mark Zuckerberg and all of what's going on right in the Senate hearing. Fascinating to see one of the senators who was supposed to be in the technology world in charge of some technology stuff, commissioner or something, didn't even know how in the name of God he made money. So I found that kind of interesting, and that they asked that. Though I've shared those videos earlier, so I won't bother going back in and commenting on all that, right? So it was the question really, guys, is, as business people and all the rest of it is, for us is to look at where. This thing is not working at all, but anyway, we'll carry on. Is to see where the opportunity is, right? So, and that's always where my head is, Facebook changes weekly, hourly, daily, secondly. Like, it seems to be moving all the time. It's interesting the lack of stuff that I am no longer seeing, and the stuff that I am seeing that like I just don't want to see is intriguing, and the way people are behaving and what they're doing, and how Facebook are actually doing this. So, like, there is questions over privacy. There are questions over apps coming in. Much better with audio. Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the tip. Because this was the second one. I did one in a group where it goes well. Evening, Graham. How are you, bye? I had done one earlier in the group as well, so it was always great. When people can hear me. I suppose it might help if they can hear me. Otherwise, I can do this. Right. So it's. So where's the opportunity? That's the question, guys, that literally asking all of this. Like, with Facebook, people ask, do you like, the whole privacy? I want this, I want that, the information they're gathering. I've said this 1,000 times and I'll say it again. They're gathering everything you're doing, okay? Your mobile phone is gathering everything you're doing. Your keyboard is gathering everything you're doing. They've been gathering keystrokes for years. It's nothing new. They want as much data. We live in the information age. The person with the most information wins, right? So you can get upset about it, we can change the world, or we can work with it and see how we can use that to grow our businesses. I take option B, right? I'm not overly concerned about the fact that of the data that Facebook have, because I don't live that interesting a life in reality for anybody to be worried about. So like that's pretty much the way I see it. So where is the opportunity? Like, you see the changes on pages again. They've drilled down deeper into insights, and you can now get demographics. You can also get the demographics of people that are engaging with you, which is interesting. It might be there for a while, but we found it the other day, and I like it because, interestingly enough, an awful lot of what I'm seeing is there seems to be a demographic shift, right? And then this would be my own results. I would love to know what yours are, but there seems to be a demographic shift to more female than male. On a lot of the engagement side of it, and is that because of the algorithm change that happened? So that would be an interesting question, because I find myself, I don't spend as much time on it as I used to spend on it, but I think it'll swing back around. I'm not worried about it in any shape or form. It will swing back around. From an advertising point of view, there still to me is no better platform on the planet than the way that you can advertise. But when people come on and say, oh, how can Facebook be getting this and how can Facebook that? I still don't know anybody who's given, I've been asking this question for 2 weeks, I don't know anybody who's given Facebook their salary or how much they're earning a year, but yet you can advertise to people on Facebook based on their salary. So if I can advertise to people based on their salary and you're not giving their salary, then they're getting this number, aren't they? And those people have got that information on you. So what's happening is, just like the banks did with the central credit system, you're going to have central data systems that are harvesting in data because it makes sense. It also creates a whole problem on the other side from a person and a human point of view. But look, I ain't going there, right? So they have got all of this information. you can use that in relation to your business. You can use it in relation to how you grow your business. You can use it in relation to how you market your business, and irrespective of what your business is and what your product are. It doesn't mean, like, when I'm saying people are engaging are more female than male, it doesn't mean that there's not males on the platform and the rest of it. Just doesn't seem to be as engaged. Whether it's the quality of stuff, maybe it's video, maybe it's it's constantly moving, and that's the thing about it, guys. It's always moving and flowing and ebbing and flowing, which is why you need to kind of stay up to date, to be perfectly blunt about it. So if you're playing, you need to kind of understand where they're going. Interesting enough, and I said this, I'm still getting better response from email, which I'm quite surprised at, because I've kind of gone back heavier into the email world than I was for a while, with relation to my own business, and I'm getting a much better response to email and doing webinars, than I am even with this, which is interesting. I don't underestimate the power of this. I think it's a great way of branding. It's a great way of getting content and all the rest of it. I see a lot of people selling using video. I see a lot of people pushing hard using video, which is great, and fair play. And you see a lot of paid groups, which is coming on. And as long as the gap is available, absolutely use it. Is my advice to anybody. Use what the tools are. Just always, I don't like. I have no problem starting on Facebook. No problem starting a business on Facebook. I have no problem researching using Facebook. No problem with that. But ultimately, you always want to get off it, right? You ultimately want to take your customers off it because you're a parasite, right? It's a parasitic industry. That's a horrible term, but that's the reality of it. You're living there and you don't have the data on your customers. There's 500 and odd people in my group, and I know 71 of them, so I get the information on the 71 of them is my group, right? Which is always interesting. So before I was able to message them, they closed that gap because people abused it. And you've got the whole chatbot thing, which I loved the idea of chatbots. I think they're brilliant. But no, they're holding back on them because they're wondering about the whole legal implication of you are actually taking the data off of Facebook. Within Facebook, in a way that the customer may not necessarily, and this is the challenge, the customer did not necessarily know they did it. Whereas if you have an opt-in page, even if it's got a social login, people are clicking on the button and you're telling them what you're doing, and Facebook are telling them what's happening. And that's what I see happening in chatbots. I think that's the step that they're going to bring in. I think that when you go on and engage with a chatbot, it's going to say, hi, this is it. This company is going to use your information because there are the GDPR regulations, as far as I know, is coming out anyway. So I think that's a whole new mix into it. So there's a lot going on, right? It might be scary for a lot of people, but where there's noise, there's money. It's always that way. Where there's noise, there's opportunity, there's money. But it is a case of be aware of where you are, what you're doing, and are you taking people, where you're getting your information in, and are you taking people off, and are you getting that information? Because even down to the fact of running a Facebook pixel on your site is brilliant, right? It's fantastic, right? You get the demographics, you can create custom audiences, the whole lot. But when I get the email on my customer, I can upload the customer in, and I can advertise to my customers as well, right? So and you can have different conversations. So the tool is fantastic. What's going to come over it? I don't know. But the reality is we're in the Wild West, right? The whole world has completely changed. You're talking about 2010 when he was in front of the Senate. That sounds like a lifetime. It's 8 years, right? If you take that in the lifetime of a child, what's in second class here, right? They're still in primary school, right? They're still babies. You wouldn't let an 8-year-old off out in the world on their own and be worried about it. So we're in a new frontier all the time. So it's cutting edges, bleeding edge. We're pushing out. We're doing stuff all the time. In the world and when I say we, I mean all of us, because we're all using this technology. So as we use it, they learn more, they refine more, and they do it. They are a PLC, guys. In the end of the day, their business is about making money, and that's the one thing I've said for years: is understand that their mission statement is to connect the world and all this stuff. Their reality is to make money. So a lot of people get caught up in the romance. To me, it's like, I'm an old businessman. That's how they make their money. That's how they do it. This is how they're doing it. It's been great. I think Mark Zuckerberg did an amazing job. I thought that he was a much nicer person than I'd be in the same situation for a lot of the questions. And he went up in front of it and he did this thing and allowed it to be televised and it went out publicly and the rest of it. And I think he came over very well. Yes, there's a lot of people say they're going to leave Facebook, unless loads of people are going to do this and that, and I've been hearing that for years, right? Yes, there might be a Facebook killer coming. MySpace got killed and all the rest of it, and then that's all possible. Yes, it's all possible, but it's not today. So work on what's today. That's as simple as that. Where are the opportunities? Where is the opportunity for your business? The opportunity is talking to customers, selling to customers through video, getting people in. Video is converting an awful lot better. Of that, there's no doubt. Of that, there is absolutely no doubt. And video ads are converting 1,000,000 times better than anything else. Because you get a much, much better cost per click. Like it just comes down to bringing it down into the very, very small money of it. And when it comes down to that, that's the type of details that you want. So it's fascinating to watch. Would I be panicked about it? No. Am I panicked about it? No, because there's nothing to do about it. In the end of the day, my opinion, I don't think Mark Zuckerberg is going to get very upset about what Anthony McCarthy thinks, says, or does. And if Anthony McCarthy comes or goes, it doesn't really matter. I do think Facebook model is changing, and I think their model is changing for a financial reason apart from anything else, because their growth is stopping. They've kind of hit the top of the bell curve, right? So what happens? You go up, then there'll be a dip and back up and it'll level out, right? Yes, they're more, and I think they're working on that where they're saying, okay, we want to bring broadband or internet available in areas where there is no internet. That sounds very magnanimous and it's a very good thing to do, and it is, but it's also a very smart business decision to do because there are new users there for them. The more users they have on, the more minutes they can sell, and they're into selling time in the end of the day, right? Ads are time, right? You get in front of an audience and you pick your audience, and the more people they have, the more ads they can have on. And then the other side of it is, which is one of the things I think they're trying to fix the whole algorithm on content, is that the longer that we're on, and if they can get every person up longer, and I think they're going to mess up, which I think they have personally at the moment, right? Messed up a bit, but they're going to mess up, they're going to come down, it's going to go up, it's going to come down. But they're trying to get us to stay on longer, which is one of the advents of video. And the interesting thing is, like, videos take longer to do. Like, I'm now talking 13 minutes, right? So videos are more content, people watch them longer. Like, think about it. You read a post, it's got 3-4 lines. You can do, and I call it the kind of 3 scroll test. Really, I think my view is that people scroll 3 times, right? And after that, you're kind of beyond it, right? So if they can now get that 3 scroll time longer and add 20 seconds to it by 2 billion people, I'm not good enough a maths to figure that out. But that's a lot of time, and that time is with a lot of money to them. So I think they're doing 2 things. I think they're trying to get us to engage more. I think they're messing with the engagement side of it. They're looking at it. They're trying to make it a better place. They are listening to customer feedback. They're a very clever business. They're a very clever business. I'll never take that away from them. But they are doing it from a business perspective, in my view. Right? That's the logic behind it. This whole save the world stuff and all the rest of it's great. But it's always great to be magnanimous and you're going to save the world when you're the CEO of a $40 billion company. Do you ever notice that? Everybody who's on top of these great $1 billion companies all go to save the world. Like, it fascinates me. And fair play to them for doing it or not. That sounds like criticism, and it's not. Fair play to them for doing it. But understand that they got to that level. So if you want to get up to a higher level, you have got to understand what their motivation and their thinking is at their point in time. So the opportunity is constantly changing, constantly moving, constantly updating. It hasn't changed away from video. Video's still working much better, and certainly video ads are working much better. Email works better than that. That's the reality. That's what I found in my own tests over the last couple of weeks when I did Legends. And it's been, remarkable to see people say, oh, this is dead and that's dead, and this is a killer and that's a killer and that's a killer and this is a killer, and everything is working. I call it the Captain Mannering. I don't know if you ever, if any of you are old enough to remember the old Dad's Army show, Captain Mannering, we're doomed. Look, people will come and go, people will make their decisions, people will like and hate it, and people will come on. There's 2 billion people on it, it's a big market. Play to what the rules are today and be ready to adapt to what the rules are tomorrow. I suppose that's my parting comments on it. So outside that, I hope you're having a great day. Sorry about the cut of me in the office and going for a walk. Let's get a bit of exercise in, a bit of air in, because we're getting ready for some new cool stuff happening. So next month and this month. So I better get back off to doing it. It's been great talking to you. And, if you've got a comment on it, throw it in. If you disagree with me, absolutely throw it in. And, let's have a conversation about it. With that, I shall talk to you all very soon. Keep smiling. See you.